before I get into that, I've got a couple of friends joining me in the stream. I've got Small Cravey, also known as Josh. I've also got Such Toxic Taz and Nightwalker. A couple of things that I want to address are as follows. A couple of glitches that are still prominent and prevalent in the game. A couple of other issues that need to be addressed as well, in terms of only now getting round to having weighted loot drops and etc., and not being able to deal with weapon damage and tactician builds and meta and etc. like that. So the first thing I want to talk about before I do any gameplay is the fact that we've just got heroic missions. We've got heroic missions to do and deal with. And the main one I want to talk about is the Lexington Event Center. I was made aware of this by a couple of my friends who are in my squad. They picked up a couple of pugs and they decided to do the Lexington Event Center. And they got to a certain area of that mission, and what it seems to me is, instead of fighting the enemies, two in the group that my friends were with decided to pop supers and just run straight through and pop the laptop. And this is in the basement part of the mission. So first of all, when it comes to a heroic mission, yes, the enemies are not at level 35, they are currently at level 33. I don't know if Massive or the guys have been made aware of that, but it seems to me that a lot of people seem to cheese things in the Division, and I feel that's very, very, very unfair and quite annoying, to be honest, because if somebody's left behind and they don't know what's going on, they're going to be left for dead. And I don't know how Taz feels about that. How do you feel about that, Taz? How do you feel about any of my comments that I've said?
Well, being left behind, that's a bit of a scummy thing to do, but do the mission properly, because if there's a random with you, they have no idea what's going on. There might be that 50% chance, 50-50 chance of them knowing, but, you know, why leave someone behind if they possibly won't know what you're doing?
Yeah. But this is also something that has been made aware with me by a couple of members in my squad, that when you're doing any form of mission or anything like that, a lot of people have said, oh, there's this glitch, there's that glitch, and there's this glitch that will help you ace this mission. And the glitches that I'm talking about, which haven't been fixed, is the smart cover glitch or the mobile cover glitch. And I do believe that since I've done a couple of investigations into looking at the incursions and etc., people have been cheesing it and posting it up to YouTube. And yes, Massive and the guys at Ubisoft were made aware of these issues, but they've still not done anything about that. That's kind of the whole point of the state of the game or the state of play videos that another YouTuber called SkillUp puts up on YouTube. the fact that mobile cover and of the like glitches are still readily available to use and people are still using them, it kind of makes no sense to me why those glitches haven't been fixed to date. So I don't know if you've used those glitches or you're aware of those glitches, Taz, because well, when it comes to using glitches and etc., it's kind of classed as cheating in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used the glitch to be able to get out of the map just so I could have a look around. Otherwise, I have not used it.
I mean,
Readings indicate this area is safe.
but then when you think about it, when you guys are going in for for example, a heroic mission, and there is a loot drought, so to speak, and you're only getting 204 weapons, do you think that's also fair for the amount of work that you've just put in to that heroic mission to get those drops?
Did you say 204?
Yes.
Maybe for people who have just started.
I mean, when it comes to the way that the Division works, guys, it's been... I've played this game since, what, March 8th this year? I got it on release date, and my original squad, who I was with, and I'm talking about the likes of SRA Gaming, Lunchbox Gaming. Welcome back, Josh.
Hello. I've managed to hardwire my PS4 in.
Yay!
Now I've got 50 meg down.
Sweet. But it makes me wonder why the loot drops are sometimes spaced out, or there are no loot drops at all, or there's just a drought of getting the essential gear that you need. It does make me wonder why certain parts of the community are being listened to and other parts of the community are being listened to at the moment.
It depends where you are in the community. If you're one of these big YouTubers, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, massive influence over your viewer base, that's the issue. The developer is almost forced to listen to your views and potentially act on them, because otherwise he can tell them, "Oh, this is a crap game, stop playing it," and the sad thing is the majority of them will listen.
Yeah, this is also true. This is a prominent issue for developers, because the fact that we are only now getting stuff like the Deadeye set and etc. I'm seeing... how can I put it? I'm seeing different gear sets that are currently on Xbox One, like Firecrest, which is a new gear set, Deadeye, which is a new gear set, and stuff like that. Those gear sets are being released and given to us. I mean, obviously, I know that we're going to be getting, with the Underground DLC, we'll be getting those gear sets anyway. I feel that most of these YouTubers are just posting out, oh, new gear set, but for all of us PS4 users, it's kind of a kick in the teeth, because we don't know what these gear sets do or where we can get these gear sets, and it kind of makes me feel like that we are, so to speak, a season behind, if you know what I mean.
It's a similar argument to with Destiny and PlayStation versus Xbox One, or PlayStation versus Xbox exclusivity. At the moment we've got two weapons that Xbox won't be able to get until it's Jade Rabbit. They'll get it in September.
Yep.
And then Meteor, I think it's 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then they won't be able to get it until October, November.
But
so
it's a bit of a catch-22, really. Then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's to do with like it's slightly sort of it's very clear on stuff like what do you call it? Call of Duty, especially in Modern Warfare 2. You'd see a lot of YouTubers would not play Call of Duty on PS4 or PlayStation even at the time, because Xbox had the exclusivity, and to get the popular views you need to have that content out on release day, which you just couldn't have with PlayStation at the time. The entire thing's now inverted, but everyone wants to see the new content when it comes out, and that's what people will be searching for.
Yeah, but with that said, Josh, it's not that I'm picking a fight or saying that we don't deserve the exclusivity rights or whatever. What I'm trying to say is, for new players to the Division, because I've seen a lot more new players come to the Division because they've heard so many good things about it, but then they've also been given a bit of a clouded judgment with all of the pre-patch notes and the state of the game that like SkillUp puts up, because he condenses down and edits down the key information, and sometimes that key information, when it's edited into a video, some of it's also left out. So it's not that I'm being ostentatious and saying that Ubisoft and Massive are wrong in doing that. I'm saying that they should make it aware that when, for example, new gear sets come out on Xbox One, they should say, look guys, don't post any of this until this content is wholly available on all fronts, because you're gonna get people on PlayStation 4 who are waiting for these gear sets and planning ahead tactically and what roles they want and how they're going to get those roles, etc. I mean, I don't know how.
So you're saying like a beta NDA, like a alpha or beta NDA then?
Yeah. If it's just saying to the guys on Xbox One, for example, I'm not, like I say, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but for me, it's kind of like, oh, this gear set's coming out. I'm going to get this role, this role, this role, this role, this role, and this role. But really, it's all down to RNG, for example. And also, with it being content that PlayStation 4 doesn't have, it's kind of a bit of a kick in the teeth, like I've already said. So, I don't know how you feel about that, Toxic, or how you feel about that, Knight.
Your attention, please. There will be a screening of cartoons for children in room 17 tomorrow morning at 09:30 hours. Parents are encouraged to attend.
Yeah. One thing I'm going to say to you, Knight, is is your voice set to always allow in chat channels or in broadcasts? Because I can't hear you on my stream, dude. Nope. I'm just making you aware of that now. I just had to make sure that's what's what and etc. Sorry to say that. I mean, how do you feel about that, Taz?
Well, the exclusives.
Yeah, the exclusivity
Well,
of...
I mean, every game's gonna have exclusives, isn't it?
Yeah, every game's gonna have exclusives, but it's for me when it comes to the Division as a game, it's a really good game, and I feel that most of the glitches haven't been addressed, and it somehow feels to me, if this is the right way to put it, it still feels to me as if it's still in its beta infancy stages, and Massive and Ubisoft are looking at fixes in certain areas, but they're not looking at fixes as a long-term basis for the game itself.
It's to be honest, it's one of these things. Like I don't think any game's ever going to come out without exclusives from sort of this point on, because companies make so much money from it, because they get because they're incredibly lucrative deals from the console company itself.
Yeah.
And also from the if it's something like Call of Duty, you get a massive monetary boost from the competitive community as well. Because all these, and that'll be like a deal between, say, Treyarch and Activision and these competitive teams, because and Sony as well, because these competitive teams, that will then mean that you have to choose to play on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever. So it just means that it adds. It's all about it's all incentivized, and actually that I can't see that changing, just because it's such. They've seen it make money. It's like in. I keep coming up with Call of Duty, but it's like in Call of Duty, they're never going to remove the supply drop system now. They're never going to stop people being able to buy supply drops, because they've seen how profitable they can be.
Yeah.
To put these things in supply drops and then have people buy them. They're never going to remove that. But...
No, you're right. But the one thing that I want to really talk about at this present time is weapon balancing and etc. and how most of the weapons do more damage, for example, on the NPC side than ours in, say, a heroic mission, an armor mitigation.
So
because that doesn't work. Armor mitigation is a very big problem at the moment.
It sounds like it's that's an issue with game design. That's not really something you can sort of. That's a difficult thing to patch, because it's like in any game. There's always going to be a meta. Like the Vector used to be the meta, and that's now changed because they've changed how they've tweaked how weapons work and everything. It's going to be the same. Like that armor, a certain armor set might be best for what the content that's out at the moment, but then that might change because an armor set's become better because it's been buffed up. It's become better for that situation. People are now moved to that armor set, and it's a constant cycle of a meta, which is I don't think ever going to get removed from any game that has roles. Like in Destiny, it's if you get a pulse rifle like a Hawksaw, unless it's max stability or it's got a god middle tier row, no one will keep it because it's not the meta. It's the same with Last Word. Last Word is the most popular weapon in the Crucible at the moment, but again, a lot of people use it, and no one's gonna really challenge that, and people know that it's good, so people will use it because actually people want to do well. Again, it's something that you can't really, unless you have similar to like Overwatch. Unless you've got everything has its best good side and bad stuff. Like something has really good, something is really bad at. Unless you have that balance like perfectly in tune, a few weapons or armor sets are always going to be more popular than others.
Yeah.
But.
And somebody decides to call me whilst I'm midstream, which is really not good. I'm working. That's not funny. Also, the fact that most of the weapon balancing and glitches have been, to a degree, taken care of. The one thing I want to see for the Division is a better understanding of how the toughness works and how weapon modifications actually influence weapons.
Yeah, I mean that would be the sort of better. If you have like certain weapons that are better in a situation than others, then it actually allows a bit of sort of if you have weapons that are really good at certain areas, like if you have say a sniper rifle that's absolute crap up close but fantastic at long range, people who prefer using the sort of long range setup will gravitate towards that sniper, whereas someone who's aggressive might take a submachine gun, and that might be really bad at long range, but sort of the close medium range, that it would excel in that area. You need to have that sort of balance between guns. Like a pistol should not again, I make comparisons between other games, but Destiny, something like a hand cannon should not be able to outgun a pulse rifle at range. Close range, yeah, sort of. In sort of, like in a decent distance, yeah, sort of. But at long range, no. But that's the case. Like, it's just. But it's just how it works. I mean, they need to have that sort of weapon balance. I mean, yeah, it's all right to have a couple of sort of weird ones, like a sniper that's actually better at close range. So for the more aggressive sort of snipers, but still want a high damage weapon. Like they can make a slightly closer range sniper, but there's only a few of them. There isn't one sniper that dominates across the entire range. So they need to balance weapons like that, I'd say.
Well, if I could put into in the fact that most of the weapons we have in the Division are either, or were either, a meted weapon, say for example the Vector or the Tactical ACR, or you know, I feel that most people are complaining about one weapon in terms of how it's rolled or how they can deal with like perks, etc. But I want to really see a better how can I put it? A better balancing system where, you know, modifications actually contribute to your weapons.
Yeah, I think that should be the case, but it's I don't know about game design. I don't know how difficult it is to design a game. I don't know how difficult to balance a game, so I can't really provide a good, clear view on this. But we don't know how hard it could be, like, to do something. Like, it could be ridiculously difficult to buff something in some way and nerf it in another. Like, we don't know how difficult it could be, because that could change the entire setup of the game, and that might require a hell of a lot of difficult coding.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
Again, I can't comment on it, like, so
I mean, people are complaining that shotguns at the moment are too powerful, according to the latest state of the game. But it's not that they're too powerful. It's the fact that people are using modifications that are slightly making those guns better, and that's what people don't seem to realise.
So then they bring down the base stats of the weapon. As far as I'm aware, that's the best way to do it. Bring down the base stats of a weapon. So if a shotgun's got too much range because they've got a mod on it that increases the range by, let's say, 20%, then you need to lower the initial range of that gun.
Yeah.
So that perk or have another negative, like it may have more range but it doesn't do as much damage. They need to have sort of, I think with the Division they need to have perks, but they need to have little.
And we have eliminated the threat to the
They need to have perks that increase it, but they also need to have something that decrease it. Like Advanced Warfare did it quite well. You get a +1 in one category, but you get a -1 in another category.
Yeah, well, they do that. They do that in certain cases when it comes to weapons, but I think what I'm trying to get at is that people don't like being given weapons that are, for example, overpowered because they don't know how to use them, for example.
Well, I don't go into the dark zone, so I haven't got much to say, but by the guess of it, it sounds like everyone's going for really, really high toughness. And then just running at you with a shotgun.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because I do believe last week in a patch they increased the damage in PvP by 20%, which is a considerable amount of damage. You know, from I think 4.2 to 4.8 is a hell of a lot of a increase for somebody, for example, using a shotgun.
It's always going to be difficult to do. Like it's never that. Like there's always a way to balance something or nerf something, but sometimes developers don't quite realise what they're actually doing because they can overbalance. Like,
yes.
Bungie is a fantastic example of this. They will, when they nerf something, Bungie don't seem to have a gentle hand when it comes to nerfing and buffing weapons, or armor pieces, or classes, or whatever. They either make it too good and completely sort of make it fantastic, or they obliterate it.
Yeah.
I mean, what used to be really good in year one? Like things like Messenger and the Hopscotch Pilgrim, fantastic in year one, but then Bungie removed the one or the thing that made it so good. Now, when was the last time you saw, apart from sort of the Neo's Mercy, like one of the God Roll ones, when was the last time you saw that high impact low rate fire archetype?
You haven't, not in a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. So I can understand. Yeah, I get what they were going for, but they went overboard, and it's the same with other things like Last Word. Yeah, they fixed the ghost bullets, and they did what they intended to do. Like they've done what they intended to do. They removed ghost bullets almost entirely from weapons. Fantastic. And then they increased the range drop-off. Still fantastic. But the thing is, it was the ghost bullets that were keeping Last Word nerfed. Because the rate of fire to the impact with fanfire is insane.
Yes.
Like you try fire what's similar. Try firing something like a AS Luna at the same fire rate. It's not possible. There is no way to do it. So they need to lower. They need to change the archetype then, in my opinion.
Come on up, and I'll meet you in the control
Yeah. I mean, I know we've just talked about glitches, and for example, But what we've just done is we've killed every enemy but one in the Lincoln Tunnel checkpoint. That isn't really an exploit, so to speak. It's just making it slightly easier on yourself. You know, if you don't know how to deal with the mob, so to speak, and you're a new player. But when it comes to heroic missions and etc., you know what I mean? I feel that, you know, once a door opens and enemies come out of it, that door should seal until all the enemies are dead. I mean, that would be a lot better, because then it forces you to fight for the loot that you want.
Yeah, like it's things like the when I last played the Division, I can't remember which. I think it was in the police station. When it was like the heroic rate, when it was heroic or something.
Challenging.
Everyone used to do the challenging. That was it. Everyone used to do the wall breach using the mobile cover. Everyone always used to do that wall breach. Yeah, exactly. I didn't really like. Last time I played, I really did not see many people not using that exploit. There were maybe 1 or 2 groups, but everyone would exploit it because it's the fastest way to get to the loot.
So from a standpoint as players of the game, I mean, I don't know who's played the game since launch or whatever, but I feel that when these modes came out, there wasn't any real sense of urgency to really walk through new players or anything like that to the game, because people were just exploiting what was going on. I mean, obviously, Josh has answered quite a lot here. I don't know how Taz and Nightwalker feel about this, but obviously it is situational in certain degrees of, oh, if you could get the loot quicker, would you take the opportunity?
I mean, who would? That's the question, really.
I can't comment on excursions because I left the game before it came out. Really, I didn't play. I played it until about a week before it came out, then got bored. But I think as far as I'm aware, I think people are actually starting to enjoy the Division, not for the loot grind, but actually for the game itself and what they've actually done with it. Because actually, the way they design the game, or the way they've done things in the game, I still think it's fantastic. Like, maybe not there's maybe not the replay value that other games will have, but actually the way they've done the game, I love it. Like, you've got all the segments you've got everything you need to unlock. You level up and you need to grind for these separate things. You need to, and everyone, it's like year 1 Destiny. You level up, you unlock everything, but then you're still grinding for the best gear and the best weapons.
Yeah.
Which I
actually
love.
You've got to get the perfect rolls.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's looking for those perfect rolls, and that's always the state of the game towards the end. But at the moment, everyone's looking for god rolls in Destiny. No one's looking for, oh, I haven't got this weapon yet, how about I go and try and get it? Everyone's thinking, okay, let's get a god roll.
But having, for example, god tier weapon
Your playmates have a sniper position
and
ahead. Keep
god
your eyes
tier
open.
armor isn't really all that it's cracked up to be, because someone out there is going to find a way to counter those builds and etc. You know what I mean?
Which is actually perfect balance. Actually, in a situation like that, nothing should be able to, like, you shouldn't be able to dominate just with one thing and nothing can counter it.
Yeah.
But everything should have its place and everything should have a counter. Like, I think, I'm just using analogies from loads of different games, but characters like Tracer in Overwatch are fantastically countered by Symmetra and Winston.
Yeah.
Because she's really nimble, but they've got the auto locking on weapons, so they're really good counters for them. It's like if you've got a Reaper, you stay at range. It's everything has its kryptonite, if you will.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're totally right. But when you're playing a game like The Division and you have people go into Dark Zone just for the hell and just for the sake of it, getting all of these god tier stuff, and it's not really fair for people to be giving all of this god tier gear and god tier information away, but not exactly saying to those viewers and subscribers how they got that god tier weaponry.
I don't mind if people don't tell me, because then
Agent, my people say the
if
threat
no
has
one
been
tells,
eliminated.
like, again, in
I
Destiny,
thank you, my guys.
is
Thank you,
making
and
all
the
of
people of
analogies
New
to
York
Destiny.
fucking thank you.
In
I'm on
Destiny,
my way back to the base with an
no
escort.
one
Let's talk when
really
you get
knew
there.
until the mission came out about the No Time to Explain.
Good job, Agent.
Yeah.
And then
If they'd blown those
it
floodgates,
was a
we would've
massive
lost a
shock,
major supply
and I
line.
loved it
Now
because
we need
no
to get
one
back to
had
the
explained how to
security
do it.
See you back
Because it
here.
was unexplored, and you were testing it for yourself for the first time. It's like with the raid. Unless you do it on the first day a raid is released, it'll all be spoiled for you. You will know how to do every single boss fight perfectly.
Yeah.
And, it works the game.
Benitez requesting immediate
When we
support
did
at the
the
Lincoln Tunnel.
quick trade,
Assholes
I
are
can't
storming
remember
the
if it was
blockade.
Merrick or not.
If they blow
But
the
it
floodgates,
took
they
us
could put
3
this whole
days to
thing
do it.
underwater.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I enjoy. Like, yeah, it's nice to get something over and done with the first time. Nothing like it's fun to do that once you reach the end game. I don't like that everything will be spoiled and you know how to run it. Like Vault Glass and Crota, I never watched any videos on them because I wanted them to be a challenge and I had no clue how to do them. And actually, I loved learning how to run them properly. And I learned that through people I was playing with and not people on YouTube, which I thought was brilliant because people have different strats. Some might work better depending on your team comp. Some might work worse, but it's more fun.
It's all about player experience and etc. I mean,
Yeah.
Alert, an agent has left your team.
I mean, when it comes to playing video games and, you know, like The Division and etc., because I'm a streamer and I stream, it's an experience for me going into, say, for example, the new Incursion that's coming out, which would be, I do believe it's called Dragon's Nest.
Another agent has joined your team.
It's going to be, for me, something of an unknown, but I'm going to be covering it without really looking at the dangers, so to speak, of what's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more fun if it's a surprise.
Captain Benitez requesting immediate support at the Lincoln Tunnel checkpoint. These assholes are storming the blockade. If they blow the
I went
floodgates, they
into,
could
what was
put this
the
whole thing
second
underwater.
incursion? What was that one called?
Clear Sky.
Yeah, that was it. I went into that blind doing it on heroic. And the guys were literally carrying me through, even though I had the right light to do it. you saved, right?
Yeah.
Even though I had no idea what I was doing. But
Yeah.
they were just going around doing everything for me, pretty much.
I find it more fun if you teach people how to do it. Like, towards the end of year 1, it was more fun to teach people how to run the Vault of Glass than to get people just to carry you through it.
Because you were going off your own experiences. But
Yeah, and you're...
but then again, when it comes to, for example, glitches, people are saying, oh yeah, use this glitch to get you through this part of the game and you'll sail through the rest of the mission, for example. I mean, a lot of these YouTubers have done this, and then when normal players like myself and you guys try to do that, we actually get penalized for those actions. I mean, it's like we've been saying, it's better to experience the game than just doing something for the hell of it. You know what I mean? I need to go back to base of operations very quickly. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Toxic. Is there anything you want to bring up in this discussion video about how you feel the Division could be improved, or what you think could improve the Division better?
Hi.
Just fix the main glitches for the moment is all I think I need to do.
Would you care to elaborate on that with main glitches?
Like the wall breaching even, should I say.
Yeah, the wall breach glitch.
The first time the incursions came out, everyone was glitching it and got all the good gear, and I was left way behind. That's what made me not want to come back, because I was like, well, I don't have the gear to fight them. Like,
so, Knight, anything you want to add?
Ooh, I just gone.
He might fall asleep. Night?
Night.
Night, Mr.
Yeah.
Night Walker, hello.
He's gone.
I'll be in touch. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, we can.
So it's basically like I said earlier. Hello, Tom, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to some gameplay and discussion about the Division and etc. A couple of things that I want to see happen with the Division, instead of all of these mini band-aid patches, I just want to see Massive and Ubisoft take direct action with the wall breach glitches, because they still can be done. You can still wall breach or wall glitch certain missions, and they said they had fixed it. Yet you can still find videos on YouTube, guys, that still do what they say.
So you'd prefer a massive overhaul?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say a massive overhaul, so to speak, where, you know, it's set in stone, but I would like to see them accept the fact and premise that there are these glitches still being used and still being prominently used.
Fair enough.
So, I will rephrase that. Yes, I do want to see a overhaul, because how can you do a run without people in your team using these glitches and penalising you if you're caught? So I think these YouTubers need to realise that using wall glitches is setting a bad example for the community. You don't know what to do. I mean, another thing that I want to address as well with The Division is the AI and their damage versus ours. I mean, you get shotguns, for example. Again, we're going to go back to shotguns as well. Shotguns are meant to be close-range weapons, and the one thing I think most people have realised is you get, yeah, they're snipers. You're getting sniper shotguns that are doing sniper hits. You know, I mean, that's something I don't want to see. And also, another thing I want to see as well in The Division that should be taken care of is the procking of health. Like when you pop a health.
Yeah, the whatever side you choose.
The overheal.
Yeah, that's the overheal, yeah. How long that takes, like 5 seconds before it actually starts healing you.
Yeah, I mean, that for me is probably one of the biggest issues I have with The Division at the moment. It's the procking. Oh gosh. Wait, I'm behind cover.
There's guys to the right.
Oh, lovely. Here you go. Thank you.
I don't know if this is intentional or not, but whenever you seem to be in a fight, it takes a long time to proc, but whenever you're not, it takes instantly.
Yeah.
Captain, they're breaking for the
There's like
tunnel.
a almost suppression effect, like in Battlefield 1. Not, that's
Don't
not
let them
suppression.
through.
Like if you're like healer, if you're doing the auto repair in Battlefield 1 on your vehicle when you're inside, if you get shot or take any damage, it stops you. Maybe it's a similar system to that.
But
Still,
it's like Toxic says, there are it's about procking. There are items that are heals when you pop them. When you're in combat, they do not proc. They don't take into instantaneous effect. Yeah. You do it outside of combat, and it procs instantaneously.
It's they at least if they were to do anything, like even if it was just going to be a minor thing, they should at least tell people how it works. Like say, okay, if you're in combat, there is this effect that will stop you regenerating to this lane, whereas if you're not in combat, you regen in this lane.
Yeah.
That would be
like most of the time I hear you say this is like, if it said in the perk tree that it did that, I wouldn't mind it. But if
like
it
with
doesn't,
what is it, Blank Strike, if it said there is a chance that you can get front stabbed by it and one hit by it, I wouldn't have as much of an issue as it just doing it as a game glitch.
Yeah.
Or the same with some grenades, like for example the Warlock Scatter Grenade, that will randomly and without warning bounce on the floor, bounce before it splits up and attacks stuff.
Yeah.
That is absolutely useless because it gives people. If it told me that it was going to do it, that's fine, no issue. But it basically causes people to survive that shouldn't. Like, people should die to that, but they don't because of a glitch. And that's not good. That has destroyed it.
So basically, what needs to happen is the fact that sometimes, yes, the health procs, but then it doesn't proc. I mean, with every ability, yes, there's a you know, there's always
Maybe
a
they could,
cooldown.
not just have that as a thing, but maybe there could be a certain gear set that actually gives you quicker when you're in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they added gifts, but then they'd need to make it balanced, whereby it wouldn't, like, it
You don't
couldn't
have
be
as much
like,
health.
yeah, maybe something like that. Like, it couldn't just be, because otherwise then everyone would use it. It'd be like, before sort of Galahad and everything was popular in Crota, a lot of the exotics for the actual boss fight would be something like Red Death if you weren't very good at keeping your health up. A lot of people just use Red Death problem solved, and that was one of the most used exotics for that boss fight.
That's good news, but we still got plenty of
So they need to make it powerful enough that it's useful and that people want to use it, but not too powerful that it starts creeping into the realm of, oh, this is really good, we have to use it.
Yeah, and then that goes into the realm of, oh, this now needs to be nerfed because there are exploits.
And then it gets completely destroyed and it's then useless again.
I mean, guys, if you're watching this video, once again, my name is Lightheart89. I'm joined by Toxic Taz, Cravey, and Nightwaker. But if you guys have any questions for us during this discussion video, and you want to air your opinions on certain glitches and etc., then please do. We'll discuss that openly whilst we play the game. I mean, I do believe Cravey's downloading The Division.
I've got about another 20 minutes.
Yay!
And then, although I haven't played since before the first Incursion was released.
They've got like 180.
Yeah, I literally I stopped playing, I think the week before the Incursion was released. Then I watched a review video on the Incursion, and I was told it was not worth it at first, so I didn't bother, and then I just never went back to the game. But as I said, the way they've done a lot of the things in that game, brilliant. Like the transition between a safe house and the outside world, or Dark Zone checkpoint into the Dark Zone, absolutely flawless. That is one of the best transitions I've ever seen. Like Destiny, yeah, it looks like it's a complete open plane, but you still occasionally hit the loading screen. But The Division is one of the most seamless transitions I have ever seen in a game. If not the most seamless one, which is fantastic.
I mean, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, they nerfed the G36, but I, for one, got around that by, you know, weapon mods and etc., and actually looking at what that nerf was. I mean, yes.
So,
I will say the G36 was, when it was first released, it was incredibly powerful and everyone was using it. And Ubisoft noticed, their community development team did notice that there were issues with that gun. And it's not that I'm complaining or anything. We've spoken about glitches and health procs and stuff like that. They fully admitted today on Skillup, when Skillup recorded, put up the recorded state of the game for this week, which is the 21st of the 7th. They admitted that they have their own QA team. So if they have their own QA team, why are they not looking for these bugs, glitches, or, for example, exploits?
So let me get this right. G36. Sorry, going back to your point on the G36C, was this a gun that was incredibly powerful when it was first released?
Yes.
They've nerfed it. They nerfed it now to a point where it's rarely used. But then if you get it with a certain set of perks, it's a redeeming factor and it makes it usable again.
I'll
Am I
meet you in the
correct?
control center.
Well,
In
no,
that
they nerfed stability and stability, accuracy, and damage, but with the right mods, you can still use it to tear things apart. But it was incredibly overpowered. They nerfed it by
Yeah.
about 15%.
Jeez. Okay, so that's the sort of thing that should be good. Like everything, like if a weapon is nerfed, there should be certain things you can run or certain things you can get on the weapon that sort of bring it slightly back up.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean about the initial nerf to the actual weapon stats itself, and then the perks can bring it up to a balanced level. I think that's a fairer way of balancing your game nowadays. Especially with the weapon variety in the division. I mean, there's so many different weapon types with lots of different perks that you can roll.
We got good news, we got bad news.
Indeed,
Looks like we
indeed.
got
I mean,
agents for backup. These guys out there, they just won't let
the way I see the division and the way I play the division is, I like my assault rifles, I like my SMGs, and before the meta came out, it was mainly SMGs that were being used.
I think I think they made the right choice in doing what they did to the G36, and obviously the Vector as well. I didn't know that's been nerfed, but that has been nerfed, and that is a really good thing, because the Vector used to be that gun everyone wanted a god roll on, everyone wanted these perfect stats with it, everyone needed these things with it, and it would just become incredible. Like it was the gun to use. If you didn't use the Vector, you'd be at a massive disadvantage. But what they've done is right to nerf that, because at the point where I remember last playing with it, it was ridiculous. It was a submachine gun that could play at every range. Maybe not the extreme long range, but definitely it had potential at long range.
Yeah.
So what they've done is good. Yeah.
I remember just before you stopped playing, and well, we did the test in the Dark Zone, didn't we? I went from really low health to really high health, and it still murdered me when I was at really high health at the time.
It took I think mine wasn't even that great. It took a magazine and a half or 2 magazines to kill you at max health.
Magazine and a half, yeah. The max health, and I think the highest then was like 200,000, and I was at 189,000, and it still murdered me.
I mean,
And
it's
that
all
was with a
about
very
time
high
to kill,
DPS one.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at the way most games are played now, and the way I deal with weapon balancing, weapon nerfs, etc. It's like I want to take a gun and nerf it to what standard it should be, you know, versus enemy damage and etc. I mean, it's not that any of us are complaining, it's just the fact that it should be noted that not all of the perks or all of the weapons need to be, for example, used in a certain way.
So you think that there should be multiple ways of running a gun? So you can either run it for DPS, you can run it for stability and range, you can run it for close range, high damage, that type of thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
no.
they
What I'm saying is, shotguns are not meant to be long-range sniper weapons, for example.
Agent, your playmates have a sniper position.
And
ahead.
I'm talking
Keep
about the
your eyes open.
NPCs here.
Yeah, even I remember there was one on heroic or challenging or something like that. There was one mission, the rooftop where there were yellow bar shotgunners, and it was the hardest thing to do. Like a lot of people would refuse to actually run it because it was so hard.
Warrengate Power Plant, which was the most difficult.
Warrengate Power Plant was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other one. Is it?
Yeah, they're like 3 levels higher than me.
I mean, when it comes to developers admitting that there is an issue with, say, for example, shotguns, but they're not taking it into account that it's not necessarily player shotguns, it's actually NPCs. Ow. I mean, yes, I want to see weapon nerfs come into play, but I want them to address that with the NPCs first, then see what it's like for players doing the damage, and then go into PvP. That's what I want to see them do. I want to see them tackle it like that.
Do you want to sort of like in, I think it's Battlefield 4, they've got something called a community test environment, so they implement patches in there before, and then they can still tweak and people can give their feedback on it, then they're implemented into the rest of the game. Do you think that type of system should be in place then?
Yeah, I mean, it's like World of Warcraft, for example. They have a PTR, they have a public test route.
Yeah, I've watched it as well. Same type of thing. So you think that the story mode should be used as a test? So it's test sort of.
Well, I wouldn't say a test. I would say that they should look at the way NPCs run.
Oh, you're still streaming.
And you know, for example, we're doing a heroic mission, and they're supposed to be level 35 enemies. I mean, SRA Gaming, I will be finishing this stream in a second, so don't you worry about that.
I'm on my way back to the base with an escort. Let's talk when you get
there. This is what I mean. Okay, weapons. They say weighted, weapon weighted drops.
See you back here.
We've just done a heroic mission. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And with a heroic mission, and this is where I'm gonna leave the stream. Most of these drops should be about 229, but they're not. They're not. So I'm gonna leave the stream here, guys. And I will speak to you guys later. My name's been Lightheart89. I will see you very soon. Take care.